daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Southampton, part of the Global Sports Podcast Network. My name is Greg Elliott, and as always today, joined by my good friend and wonderful co-host, Zach Ingo Finch. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm starting to try and put myself in a better headspace for the game tomorrow. Despite
is it your first trip to St Mary's this season?
first trip this season, yeah.
It's exciting, mate.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
if we win, you're going to have to buy a season ticket for the rest of the year because clearly that's how it works.
And also,
that is the change. So
yeah, no, you're right. Like, we just have to see how it goes. I'm really hoping it's just anything more positive than what we saw last week. But I'm also very, very aware that obviously we have like half a squad, like if that. Yeah. So obviously the press conference is done, and it's just really, I don't know. It's bad news, I guess, for all of the players that are out injured. Good news for anybody that's trying to get their spot.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a lot, right? Shea Charles out for a long time, which we kind of knew anyway. Yella still out for a while, which we knew anyway. Wellington suspended, which obviously we knew anyway. But also Cameron Archer not able to train all week because of the ankle that he came off with at the weekend. Sammy Dozy, who was looking to be back in the squad supposedly, is now out with an injury. Flynn Downs with a knee injury. That's a big old list, isn't it?
Casper Yander right now? Do we know? Yander right? Maybe.
Didn't say. Let's hope.
It's a lot, right? That leaves Armstrong and Downs as our only first team strikers that are technically available.
No, that's not true, mate. You're missing out the obvious choice after Wednesday night's performance.
What you mean?
Unu up front. That's got to be the play, right?
I would like to put it to the record that you made this joke before, and also you literally spoke about it sometime this week. I don't remember what episode, but before that game took place, you joked about putting him up front, and he almost scores from a set piece.
Honestly, genuinely, the best header I've seen from a corner from us all season.
Yeah.
Just a good save by the Real Madrid under-21s keeper, and then, someone alive at the back post to basically trip over and put it in. That's a proper, poacher's finish. That's why he's scoring goals for fun in that under-21 league. But yeah, Baz up front is definitely... Look, it wouldn't be the craziest thing we've seen, right? It happened. David James did it for Man City, right?
No.
I will say that we talked a lot about the messages certain things give and how you wouldn't want to put certain players in certain positions, and if we choose to start our second choice goalkeeper up front over Damien Downs, I feel like that's not something you recover from as a human.
No, I feel like at that point you just pack up shop, right? Because you're like, what do I need to do to get an opportunity? It's like, well, you need to displace this second choice goalkeeper, who unfortunately is just a better striker than you right now. Which,
that said, we all remember the last minute equaliser at Preston, of all places, where Bazunu scored. I think it technically did go down as an own goal, but we all know that Bazunu scored from a corner. Yeah.
So exactly. So
he's got a track record against him. It wouldn't be the craziest thing if you're going on stats alone.
Yeah, but what I would really like is us not to be in a position that at the end of the game we're going to have to send our keeper up to try and score. What I'd really like is us to be in a position where we dominate and score, and this reaction that is supposed to take place takes place. So I guess before we even start talking about team selection, mate, press conference, right? So what do you make of Will Still's words?
I think that I agree with most of it. It is. We talked about how important it is. It's really time to put up or shut up, and If he's felt the way that to do that is to have some harsh truths amongst the team and put players in their place, then good. Yeah. I mean, we've had the debate all week and before about whether it's really Will Steele's fault or if it's the player's fault or if it's the board's fault or where the fault lies. And his message is right, is that it doesn't matter. We all need to deal with it and suck it up and be better. I like it. It's a good message. I'll be interested to know who the players who he's had those harsh truths with, though. That's
Is it
for
not
sure.
just all of them? Because, the defenders aren't defending, the goal scorers aren't scoring,
Yeah.
the midfielders are not existent anymore.
Yeah.
The midfielders all have hamstrings that are apparently made of the same thing, which it's funny because it's true. But also, I feel like it's quite telling that he points out that the Kwashi missed ball, because that was bad. Like we pointed out that it was bad, right? And it's frustrating, and I think that I too kind of agree with pretty much everything he's said. I think that it was good. It's all words until we see the actions, but
that's it, right? We've agreed with everything he said more or less since he came in, but it really needs to come through and show, because that's the part that hasn't hit yet. And
it's just a shame. We've talked about it a little bit, but it's like any other job, you just don't do your job properly, you get fired. And managers, that happens. They don't do their job properly, they get fired. Kind of mad to me how players don't have to receive that, right? You could just play badly. Yeah, you might get dropped. Still get paid though until your contract ends. And I understand that there's an increase in playing power and in the modern day, and that managers are going to have to sort of deal with the fact that they can't just hair dryer treatment players all the time. But it is mightily frustrating that it's just the same group. It's almost the same group a different day, hearing the same things, and then what else do you need to do to motivate them other than at this point some sort of personal pride? But then I've said that about that. I said about that most of last season. It seems to not really, the personal pride went out the window once they weren't the worst Premier League team of all time. So yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, and I feel bad for him. And I think we both watched that YouTube video that was about 10 minutes from, I don't know, I think it was from the Second Tier podcast, who seems at the moment absolutely love us. Mainly, which shows you we're in our banter era, right? If we're getting made fun of by them. It's no longer Sheffield United, despite the fact that they still aren't out of the relegation zone, right? But hey ho, what do I know?
I think they just make a lot of content.
Maybe it's both, but I see it a lot more, and I'm seeing a lot of not Saints fans get rattled, but just be very aware that we're getting talked about a lot. And it's kind of nuts because we weren't talked about much last season, despite being significantly worse, because of how much Man United and Tottenham underperformed, which was the little saving grace from the fact that we were just toilet. People didn't want to make fun of us because of how bad we are. Whereas now it's just we should be doing better than we are. We're not. The players aren't putting in 100%, or if they are, they're not doing it in ways that you need to, I guess what you pointed out, right? Footballing intelligence, football decision making needs to just be better across the board. But yeah, I just find it's interesting. There's a lot of eyes on us at the moment for all of the wrong reasons. It's surely from a point of professional pride, you don't want that to be the case all the time, right? You want to go out there and prove them wrong, and they have an opportunity to do it at Preston. It's just whether or not they take it, because I don't know if this is last chance saloon for Steele, but it very much kind of feels like it, because it feels like something's going to have to give. And then what are you going to do? Because you're not going to be able to change the entire squad.
But to caveat that, Zach, it's really important we don't look past Preston, because they are, as is often the case in this league, not going to be a walk in the park, right? They are 7th in the league at the moment. Their away form is not fantastic, granted, but they, have come off some good results. They are there or thereabouts, and they're also going to be up for it. They're going to see our home form and think, man, this is where we can turn our tide. So it's not as clear cut as just go out and walk over a team. It's going to be a game.
Yeah, but
against the
that's
team.
what we want, though, right? That's what I mean. Is like a game. What I don't want is we go 1-0 up, we cry about it, we concede, and then from there we lose. Because the problem with that story is it's the story of last season as well. We were like the team with the most points dropped from winning positions, and I'm pretty sure we're close to that again. And it's just something's going to have to give. And no, you're right. We shouldn't look past Preston. You know, they're doing well. It's just that we should be beating them on paper, right? This is the problem: is that none of this has worked out.
That's it.
I'd like to say they play it on grass, mate, but I don't even know if that's been the case either.
That said, having a look at our historical head-to-head against Preston actually fares quite well for us. In our last 5 meetings, we've won 4 and drawn 1. The draw, of course, being that Gavin Bazunu goal up at Preston. Last time at home in the Championship, we beat them comfortably 3-0. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure. Before we go to a break and talk about team news, mate, you know I want to give you my AI spiel. It's Southampton are poor home form, and Preston North End are performing average away. The numbers suggest that this pairing leans to a tight affair. The data skews toward a low-scoring game where under 4.5 goals is essentially a given because it has happened 100% historically. Under 3.5 goals sits around the high 90s. Southampton's home expected goals is a modest 0.96, where Preston's expected goals for away is around 1.4. So the expected goal matchup leans towards a 3.3, but Southampton favoured to keep a clean sheet. So that's interesting. Right.
Well, the supercomputer predicted us to lose 1-0.
It says prediction Southampton to win likely 1-0 or 2-0. With Southampton to win and under 3.5 goals as the premium bet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like the fact that all of these AI keep thinking we're going to win, despite the fact that we haven't done that a lot this season. But it's nice to know that the computers are with us. Well,
for now at least.
Yeah, specific computers, right? Because there are other computers that aren't.
Indeed. Right, mate, let's have a little pause, have a quick break, and hear a message from our partners at Bionique.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionique provide 100% tailor-made supplements, designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionique. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Okay, mate, and we are back. So look, the unenviable task of picking a starting lineup. I sent you a lineup earlier in the week. And having heard the team news of all of these injuries and outages, it actually feels quite likely that's maybe what we're looking like, right? Like we might have to be forced into this change to a back four and go with some sort of 4-3-2-1 or 4-2-3-1.
I would say the other way, surely, because we don't have the outfield midfielder players to deal with this situation. So I wouldn't be surprised if we keep it as is, at least for the time being.
I think that. So let me go through my lineup, and then we'll go through, and you can dispute it, which I'm fine with. So obviously McCarthy in goal.
Well, with Baz playing against Real Madrid and being a new striker, he's got a lot of training to do off the pitch before he can get back on it in his new number 10 role.
Yeah. Centre backs, Nathan Wood, Harwood Bellis. The pairing for me, I think that's a solid pairing with Manning and Rorschleff as fullbacks, traditional fullbacks, none of this hybrid wing-back nonsense. Then I've got Downs, Yander, and Azaz But obviously Downs with a question mark now because of that potential knee injury. They say they're hoping he's back, but I guess that really is either way, that's a position we're going to need covering with no Charles, right? So is that maybe we see a Rebo come back in? Is there anyone else on the bench you could see slotting into that role?
Maybe, because obviously, he hasn't said anything about a Dozy. He spoke about Aribo and Matsuki both missing out. Both of them should be available and around. And I've said before, although Matsuki, I think, would rather play and has played more like where Azad would play, he is also able to play in midfield there. So I wouldn't be surprised if, we end up seeing somebody else to go with Yander, and that's if Yander's well enough as well, right? Because although it wasn't mentioned in the press conference, I'm hoping he's over whatever food poisoning crap.
He did mention that everyone else was back in training and feeling better, other than the ones he named. So fingers crossed. I guess actually a left field pick that I did mention earlier and forgot about until just this very second is Moses Cisse didn't play for the under-21s against Real Madrid. Could we have been saving him for a start in this game, knowing that Downs and Charles are out?
It would make sense. He was involved in pre-season. It's a position that he's played in. I don't know if he was out sick, but I don't really see any other reason why he'd have been rested against Real Madrid, right? Not even being involved in the squad is a very strange decision, unless you're planning to do something with that player, or you're just giving him a night off, which is fine, but surely they would realise that would cause speculation. Or they don't think about that kind of stuff at all, because, I don't know, I guess some random blokes on the internet don't really matter to the decision making of what's happening with the squad, and that's fine.
And then I've put a front three of fellow Cienza and Armstrong, which I think that's the only way. I think that with the unfortunate question mark of Downs taking the sort of sting in this lineup, I feel like that's the way you play these players to get the best out of these players, right? Is to put them in the positions they want to play in. And Tom Fellows is a
sure putting the players in the position that they want to play sounds a bit crazy there, Greg.
It sounds like something that we've asked for routinely as Saints fans, and it's really upsetting that this many managers in a row, it's a point we're still having to make, right?
What do you mean when you play players in the position that they naturally play in, they usually play better? Is that what the point you're trying to make? But I also see where it still comes from, though, because he did try to do that before and nothing really happened until we moved to a back five, because I feel like everyone was too scared that they would score a goal, and then if we're in a back five, they score goals anyway. So it's baffling.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Having said your lineup out loud again, mate, I don't really have a lot of dispute in there. I don't know where it came from. I guess I don't know what. I guess if I would have maybe questioned Edwards and Quashi, right? But then also, that was. They were mentioned in this press conference as making mistakes. Does Jack Stevens never play again?
Well,
not thus far. So, apart from his little stint as midfielder for 15 minutes.
I'd be willing to hear the debate about whether it's Harwood Bellis or Ronnie Edwards in there at the centre-back pairing, right? I think Wood is very clearly going to be the first choice. I think one of the harsh truths that has had to be had is that Stevens is the fifth choice centre-back, right? That's going to be the way it's going to be.
Well, at least we didn't give him a long-term contract at the beginning of the season.
I don't know. Look, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see him brought back in on the team sheet, as in the press conference Will said that it was experience that he thought he was bringing onto the pitch to sort of steady the game. And I mean, look,
I agree with that to an extent, but the problem is that we've had now 4 managers in the last year. They brought in Adam Lallana for experience on the pitch, and when he came on the pitch, you pointed out, well, yeah, we look a bit more better because you've got someone that's commanding. We didn't win.
No.
We didn't do any better, realistically, just because there's a level, just because you've got the manager shouting on the pitch, essentially, right, in those positions. That's what you've got them for. Hasn't made these people not make mistakes thus far. So, I understand that. And, it's no disrespect to Stevens, as I said. I'm not going to say anything mean against him after the Wrexham game, but also, you're right. If you're like fifth choice centre back, it's just just kind of sucks, doesn't it? Really, like, I feel bad for him, but also, what else are you going to do?
Like I said, equally, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with a back four of Stevens and Wood with Rochelev and Manning. But I think based off of what we've seen so far, I feel like Harwood Bellis or Ronnie Edwards is more likely to be one of those picks. And I feel like, I don't know, Harwood Bellis feels like the sensible option. I think he's been better since he sort of came back after his sort of spell out. And, I know you said he sort of saw aspects of him losing his head a bit and not quite showing that leadership that you'd want, but also that's because he actually cares, which is also something that we need. So
I think the difficulty I have is like what we should really, especially with like our defenders, is like it's almost like we should just get a list of like how many of them have made individual errors. And I think the problem is it's quite similar. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's like one that's got to stand out much worse than the other, right? And I think that's where some of the problems like arise, is that you don't really know, and you've got to trust in what we've got. And they got in a new defender, and it's like, unless we're going to change the entirety of the defence, and is that really a problem? Not really, because we're creating chances, we're not putting them away. So then is the striker necessarily a problem? Or is it just the fact that all of them like, oh my God, we're going to win, and then panic and decide not to win, right? Like brains are weird. People's decision-making ability is weird. And again, like the pressure of we really need to get this win, whether it's good or bad, I don't know, man. But yeah, like I just wanted to put the Stevens question out there, right?
It's like, perfectly reasonable question.
It feels like it's kind of like what I'm a bit perplexed by is that, okay, so have you now paid a lot of money to keep this guy on contract for the next couple of years just to be a voice in the ear of the players? Is it replacing that Adam Lallana role because Adam Lallana is now a coach? Who knows? Like, he's the club captain.
I don't know, mate, but I mean, Joe Aribo, if you're going by that, Joe Aribo's our top earner, and he's been paid so far this season to what? Like, sit and scratch his balls on the bench. Like, there's nothing.
Don't excuse me. He got offered a couple of moves to Turkey. Just didn't want to go.
Amazing.
Allegedly,
right. Right, mate, look, let's move on to the fun bit and the bit that everybody's here for and get some score predictions. But first, let's have a break and hear a word from our partners at Zencastr. Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform, and Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to make a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description and learn more about Zencastr. All right, mate, as is traditional, I'm going to throw you under the bus first. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
It depends. What do I think or what do I want?
Both.
What I want is a 2-0 win because I want us to score by more than 2 goals, keep a clean sheet, and then actually have something to grow and build on. What I worry about is that supercomputer is 100% correct and it goes 0-0 for a really long time and they score 1-0. And then it just like, because that would be the turning point. So I think that it's an incredibly important game, however you want to put it. Not just for us, probably for Will still more so. I don't know if he'll just get like directly fired after. I think that a lot of this has come from us. Like, it's been, we are riled up after every game. We get annoyed. Everyone riles up on social media. I don't know if he's that close to getting the sack or what, right?
I don't think so. I think he's got. So then, I mean, if he loses all 3 of the games in the next 7-8 days, that's an additional discussion to have for sure. Like, there's pressure, undoubtedly, but 2 or 3 results, we're in a different boat.
So that's where I'm at, right? Like, I think it's a really important game. I really want it to be 2-0. I really want us to just put in a performance that we can all be proud of, a performance that I'm going to enjoy to watch. I know that's not what you go to St Mary's for. It's to drink acai in the fan zone, obviously. Still better than Kingfisher. But yeah, like that's where I'm at, mate. So My heart really wants it to be 2-0. The head is at 1-0 to them, and I don't like that. So let's hope the heart wins out over the head this week, eh? What about you?
Yeah, mate, I'm feeling 2-0. 2-0 was exactly what I was going to say. I'm thinking 2 goals. I think 1 early, 1 late. Because we're never going to be comfortable, so we're going to be sat at 1-0. I just think that it'll get to the 60th, 65th minute, we'll still be 1-0. They'll start coming at us with pressure, and then I think we'll make some sort of tactical change, and it will pay off and come good, and we'll go on and kick on from it and get another goal. Feeling positive.
Yeah, it's good.
Maybe
Good.
it's just from seeing a Saints team battle back from 1-0 down last night in the under-21s, but
there you go.
I just feel like it can happen. Like there's that bit of hope.
It happened at St Mary's, so that it's like it can happen at St Mary's again, right? Is what everyone really wants, and yeah, maybe we'll actually go on to have a better game. This is a big turnaround, at least in our opinions and our vibe from last weekend, right? And I feel like I just need to, so I don't end up perpetually miserable. So I'm just really hoping that it's a good game.
And
I'm sure we'll be there and have a great.
Because that's the thing, right? We get a nice win, even if it's only like a stumble over the line 1-0 win. At the end of the day, that's still a win, and that gives us the momentum heading into 2 more rapid fire games. So
that's going to be so important.
Yeah, and we have the additional advantage this time, I guess, in that 2 of the games are at home, whereas all the other times this happened, we've had 2 games away, which I'm sure is more challenging. So, fingers crossed. 9 points, 3 games. Let's do it. Let's kick on. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to get to St Mary's and have an Asahi with you in the fan zone. But look, sure. That's it. That's all we've got time for today. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and thank you, Zach, for joining me.
Thank you, mate.
Let us know in the comments and on the socials your score prediction. How do you think it is going to play out? We are on all of them. We are on X, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. If there's a social media, we are on it. Look us up. Let us know your thoughts. We love hearing from you. Regardless of how it plays out, though, we will be back to talk about it. For sure. We always are. We love it. It's what we do. Until then, though, have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and we'll see you then.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.